I was able to just put them on my iPad, except for this one. We're doing all the verses. What are you doing with the rest of your together? Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our opening song, number 131 in the gray hymnal, Love Will Guide Us.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. I am Sarah Pickett, your celebrant today. This is, which Sunday is it? And Arrhiannon Kirkpatrick is your homilist today. And you might have noticed a new cantor, Grace Curran, who also happens to be our new music director. And yes, yay. And Reverend Monica Jacobson will come and officially welcome her a little later in the service. Also, you might have noticed something behind me. Something rather large and bright. You didn't notice it. Well, let me point it out to you now. The new video wall. Look at that lovely painting with the nice blue. Wow, that's really bright. Anyway, just wanted to point out this is a nice example of a cause. Our projector was dying, a liminal space, and now we have the effect of a new video wall. This was done with the help of many, many people, including our lead AV tech, Lorianne Schmidt, who also happens to be our accompanist today. I'm going to point that out. Whether conscious or not, you started a cause and effect response today by coming here or by tuning in online. You chose to engage in a spiritual and social experience, the effect of which will likely be a positive one for you, I hope. Let's start off by turning to camera 2 and giving a big wave and smile to our folks watching online. Hello, everybody. And then turning and saying hello to those around you. Hello, hello, hello. A simple gesture causing a huge positive effect on others and on yourself. Yay. Thank you all for being here today, and welcome. As human beings having a spiritual experience, we nurture positive energy and connections when we recite loving words together, as we do weekly with our affirmation. So please join me as we say, love is our doctrine, compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. Weekly, we light 3 chalices as a symbol of our motivation and desire to foster goodwill and grace in all relationships. The first chalice is for us, members and friends of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. The second chalice we light is for our Unitarian Partner Church in Chimanfalva, Transylvania, Romania. And the third we light to nurture the future through the love and care of our children and children around the world. Please join me in singing The Flame into Life.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Monica Jacobson, and I brought a cold back from my recent travels, so I'm not sharing it with you. But I do, our microphone is unhappy this morning, I do have the honor of getting to come up here to mark two exciting milestones, those that Sarah alluded to earlier. First, officially welcoming Grace Curran to her role as our music director. Grace was chosen after a search by our music director hiring committee, Meryl McKean, Barbara Stebbins-Bowes, Craig Rowland, Emma Krager, and myself. We were delighted when she accepted our offer to become part of our staff. Grace, we offer you the goodwill of this congregation, and we trust that you will lead both our music program and our congregational singing with great joy. We recognize that music has always been a sustaining element of human communities, especially in hard times. And so we celebrate the ways that you will help us to connect, to harmonize, and to carry on even when times are tough. You will be a blessing to this congregation, and this congregation will be a blessing to you. Let us say together, welcome, Grace. Welcome, Grace. And we get to dedicate this video wall. If you were here last winter, you may remember that we had a projector that allowed us to show slides here in the sanctuary, as well as sending them out to people attending online and showing them on the TV in the back of the sanctuary. That projector gave up the ghost. We did without it for a while. And I know some of you missed having those slides very much. So with great thanks to our AV lead, Lorianne Schmidt, who did extensive research, got bids, figured out options, with great thanks to those current members of the congregation who gave extra financial resources toward this project, and with great thanks to the past members of this congregation who left bequests that allowed us to fund this project, we now have a video wall behind us. As part of this same project, Lorianne researched and we funded the projector and the screen in the fellowship hall that were installed late this spring, which we have already enjoyed using for several events. This video wall is going to let us show images and words regardless of whether the sun is shining or other overall lighting conditions. And I am excited for what it makes possible for us to share in worship, both in the room and online. When I was in divinity school, a friend and I noticed that if you go through our gray hymnal, you'll find three suggested texts for dedicating church organs, pianos, and other musical instruments, 3 hymns for building dedications, and 5 hymns for organ dedications. I think we may safely conclude that dedicating special parts of our structures, those that help us to worship, is a part of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. So in that spirit, let us celebrate and dedicate this new technology, not an organ, but maybe like a 21st century equivalent, in that it supports us gathering and singing together and creating this community anew each Sunday. May this video wall help us expand our welcome, inviting new and returning people to this spiritual home, May it broaden our imaginations, bringing the images of those who have passed away into our memorial services, connecting us to our partners in social justice and to Unitarian Universalists across this country and in dozens of countries around the world. May it help us reach out in love. Please repeat after me. We lift up our hearts in thanks and hopeful anticipation. We lift up our hearts in thanks and hopeful anticipation. May it be so.
Good morning. My name is Rhonda Holt, and I am honored to be one of your Lifeline lay ministers. We have 4 sorrows and 2 joys today. Carolyn Patterson has 2 concerns. Please keep Lisa Guillermo in your heart as she unexpectedly had to put her pup down. And those of us who love fur babies understand her sorrow. Please keep my friend Claudia in your thoughts as she is succumbing to her cancer. Joan Stembridge says, my heart is breaking for all the children in Gaza who are hungry and thirsty. Can we please feed the children? Tracy Boyle and Marge French have a joy. This is from Marge. Grateful thanks to the members of Women's Alliance who helped me in getting moved by filling boxes and boxes of stuff to be donated to local charities. And finally, Paul Sturgis writes, I had heart valve replacement surgery last month and have not been able to make it to church for a while. I will celebrate my 90th birthday on August the 27th with my sons. Finally, we light one more candle for those joys or sorrows felt in anyone's hearts that remain unspoken. Lifeline lay ministers are identifiable by our stoles and badges. You can reach out to us by visiting the Lifelines table in Henneman Hall, and there is more information on the back of the order of service on how to contact us.
Please remain seated as we sing our heart song, number 289, in the gray hymnal, Creative Love, Our Thanks We Give. Creative
Each effect has a cause. Be gentle and mindful. As we sow, so we reap. Poised in the void, let us take a conscientious leap. Each effect has a cause. Settle all debts of love, ensuring heart is pure. Forgive, forget, move on. In tranquil peace endure. Each cause, each effect has a cause. Though this life will roll on if we be nonchalant, in state of surrender, twists of fate do not daunt. Each effect has a cause. Yet karma is burnt off once cravings are released. Our suffering then ends, since ego is decreased.
I am not a scientist, although I do love the many aspects of science and the work of the many, many, probably millions of brilliant scientists around the world. Without them, we would still be living on a flat planet that is the center of the universe, with no sense of how we got here or how we managed to stay attached to said planet. There are so many parts of life that are attributed to science in its many forms, and I am in awe of such things. As a teen in high school and planning a college future, I was always more interested in literature and history than pure science. But in a liberal arts environment, I had to take at least one class that focused on science. It was supposed to help round out my education, and I'm sure that it did. I took a general science class, and one of the things I learned in this general science class was that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I think it had something to do with an apple. Well, Newton gave us that theory, I understand. Now, as an adult and someone who honors the natural world, the unknown and the unproven, and the wonders of this earth and universe, I believe this idea of cause and effect is part of our living every moment. I think it's a basic law of science. There's also the idea that what goes around comes around. And for many earth-based spiritualities, there is this belief of the threefold law, that what you put out into the universe will come back to you 3 times, or even 3 times 3. Pagans believe in science, for the most part, and that we all have influence over ourselves and each other and the entire natural world. Some belief systems might call this karma. Some pagans also believe that as long as you do no harm, you may do what you will. I believe that all motive and action affects the cosmos in some way. Scientific laws and theories are as important as the feelings and emotions that are an integral part of humanity. I believe that people affect change, and change affects people directly and indirectly. We're all linked, breathing the same air, under the same sun, gazing at the same sky, on this same bit of earth. The principle of cause and effect is the truth that allows us to change ourselves and the world around us for the better. However, this same universal law is also at work when change is not at the forefront of our minds. Nothing anyone does, however minor or mundane, is ever exempt from the rules of cause and effect. From the moment of birth, each one of us has served as an agent of change, setting forces beyond comprehension into motion across the surface of the earth and beyond. And as such, each person can exert conscious control over this transformative energy simply by examining intentions and endeavoring to promote peace, positive energy, and passion in ideas and action. While someone may never fully comprehend the extent of this purposefully heartfelt influence, rest assured that it will be universally felt. This I truly believe. Our intentions flow forever outward in the form of energy, affecting both the people closest to us and the billions of individuals we will likely never meet. For that reason, it's vital to always strive to speak, think, and behave with great thoughtfulness and compassion. The virtues we choose to embody can inspire joy and integrity in the lives of countless people, whether we touch their existence or not. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to search for truth and meaning, responsibly and freely. We respect the many spiritual and esoteric teachings and philosophies of human history, including humanistic counsel, heeding the guidance of research and the results of science to bolster our ideals in mind and in spirit. We respect each other in all we do and say. Love is our center, where we grow and where we thrive. The Reverend Amy Beltane recently posted her thoughts on an old parable and her deeper thoughts on it. Some of you may remember Reverend Beltane. She attended this congregation in the 90s and in the early 2000s. She was ordained here as a UU minister, and she was the RE director. She's also a pagan minister, spiritual advisor, and counselor. She teaches at the Cherry Hill Seminary, and she's one of my personal role models and a friend. Her post was in response and reflection to the many flooding disasters, wildfires, and other things happening here in the United States and around the world. She currently lives in Portugal. There is a parable based on an Abrahamic viewpoint where someone experienced extreme danger, in this case in a flooding house, prays for divine intervention and rescue. Many folks are familiar with this in some way. There's a great flood happening, and a person is praying for God to intervene and to save him from the floodwaters. In this modern twist, a jeep comes by through the floodwaters, but the person refuses help. No, as he continues to pray, certain that his God will save him. As the waters rise, a canoe comes by and again tries to help. But he continues to pray and says, no, I'll be okay. As the waters rise even higher, a helicopter tries to rescue, but again, he rejects the help and continues to pray. Sadly, he does not survive. And after death, upon standing at the pearly gates, he asks, "Why didn't God rescue me? I was praying for his intervention." The answer? He sent you a jeep, a canoe, and a helicopter. But you refused each one. You refused to be rescued. Now, the lesson is supposed to be that we don't always recognize when we're offered or granted what we need from the divine. What Reverend Beltane says in her discussion of this parable points to the fact that it isn't recognizing just those who need rescue in such times. It's vital to recognize that the rescuers aren't standing on dry ground either. The Jeep is driving through floodwaters. The canoe paddlers are in the flood too. The helicopter pilot is flying through the storm. We are all in this together, she says, and we keep showing up for each other. Each action taken results in an effect that moves something forward and helps in some way. Reverend Beltane says, this reframe transforms everything about how we understand our role in the world's current crises. We're not just called to accept help when the divine sends it through human hands. We're called to be those hands, even when we're struggling to keep our own heads above water. When we flip the parable this way, it reveals something profound about divine action and human responsibility. If we are the hands and feet of the divine in this world, then our showing up for each other isn't just good citizen or moral duty, it's sacred work. The person driving through the flood zones to check on neighbors isn't just being helpful, they're participating in divine rescue. The community organizer working to protect vulnerable populations isn't just doing politics, they're engaging in holy work. The minister crafting messages about love and commitment when everything feels overwhelming isn't just doing their job, they're serving as a conduit for divine possibility. But here's the thing that makes this both beautiful and heartbreaking. We're doing this sacred work while we're also the ones who need rescue. In our families and our communities, we can be the catalyst for growing and becoming. The influence we wield is infinite. In an effort to internalize our conscious understanding of the nature of cause and effect, we can never truly know how our thoughts, emotions, words, or actions will manifest themselves on the larger universal stage, because it's very likely that the farthest reaching effects of those actions, thoughts, words, and emotions will fall outside our range of perception, our knowledge, and our daily lives. We can only look to the guidance of our conscience, which will help us determine whether each of our choices is contributing to humanity's illumination or setting the stage for unintended troubles. When we are in doubt, we only need to remember that the cultivation of altruism inevitably leads to a harvest of goodwill and grace. Motivated by a sincere desire to spread goodness, we will be naturally drawn to those choices that will help us express our commitment to universal well-being. Now, Reverend Beltane goes on to say, referring back to each of us knowing what much must be done, this understanding that carries both tremendous weight and unexpected lightness. The weight comes from recognizing that if we are the divine rescue that shows up for others, then the work really is up to us. We can't wait for someone else to fix what's broken. We are the someone else. But the lightness, and this is crucial, comes from remembering that we don't have to do this work alone, and we don't have to do it without joy. Even in the flood, there can be connection. Even in crisis, there can be moments of beauty. Even when we're rescuing others, we can experience the profound satisfaction of being part of something larger than ourselves, of participating in divine action in the world. Awareness is when we're able to realize what we are doing. We observe ourselves, noticing our reactions and actions and choices, as if we were a detached viewer. Awareness is the first step to change, because we can't make a change unless we are aware that one needs to be made. We can then begin understanding why we are doing what we are doing. And afterward, it becomes difficult not to change because we're no longer asleep to the truth behind our behaviors. We also begin to realize that just as much as we are the root source behind the causes for our behaviors, we are also the originator for any changes that we want to happen. There's such freedom that comes with awareness. Rather than thinking that we're stuck in a repetitive cycle where there's no escape, we can begin to see that we very much play a hand in creating our lives. Our behaviors and choices, they're always ours to make. Our past and our present no longer have to dictate our future when we choose to be aware. We are then free to move beyond our old limits, make new choices, and take new actions. With awareness, our paths can't help but wind us forward in our lives while paving the way for new experiences and new ways of being. It is through awareness that we can continue to consciously evolve. Reverend Beltane concludes her post this way. The traditional flood parable asks us to recognize divine help when it comes, but the flipped version calls us to something more demanding and more beautiful, to be the help that comes, to be the divine presence that shows up for others, to be willing to get in our canoe and paddle towards someone who's struggling, even though we're in the flood too. This doesn't mean we have to be saviors or that everything depends on us. It means we're part of a vast network of divine action, a web of people showing up for each other in small and large ways, each of us both giving and receiving rescue. In these times that feel so overwhelming, so impossible, this reframing offers both challenge and comfort. Yes, the work is ours to do, but no, we don't do it alone. We are simultaneously the drowning and the rescue, the lost and the found, the ones who need savings and the ones who show up to save. The flood is upon us all, and we keep reaching for each other anyway. If that's not divine action, I don't know what is. Sometimes we are the Jeep. Sometimes we are the person on the roof. And sometimes we are both at once. There are consequences whenever there is a cause resulting in an effect. And as you use, the causes are many and the effects are long-lasting because Unitarian Universalists care. I don't want to imply that other spiritualities don't care, because I know that they do. They really do. I know as a pagan I truly care. Care and love for all of us are in our very being, part of the cells that make up our bodies and part of our blood. The effects we strive for are positive and filled with a very divine essence of life. The scientists in this room, the humanists, and the atheists might argue about divine what, yet I see the divine in their eyes as much as anyone else's, whether they like it or not. And as you go from here today, please remember to pause and reflect. Reflect on what you offer to the vastness and how you may cause the tiny drop in a lake to become the ripple that crosses miles. the consequences of what we sow and how we give or take have an effect on our world and affect every person and everything. Please be mindful and be purposeful. Blessed be. Let's take a moment for reflection and contemplation. As you breathe in, you're sharing the air of everyone in this room, of all the creatures and the atmosphere of this earth. It may be a tiny speck, but is a part of all life. And as you breathe out, you're sharing your whole self with everyone in this room, all of the creatures and the atmosphere of this earth. We are all connected. Take a moment to just share.
Sometimes we might not believe we have anything to give or enough to cause an effect on anything. Yet, when our contribution gets combined with others, the consequences of our actions are huge and have a meaningful benefit. We see this weekly with our contributions to the Marion Polk Food Share, either through non-perishable food placed in the Little Red Wagon or through monetary donations. We see this through our pledges and volunteerism in our UUCS community. And for the month of August, we can see this through donating to our Share the Plate recipient, Planned Parenthood, an organization that supports countless women and men in obtaining the medical health care they need as they plan for the future. Please contribute as you can through placing donations in the bags that are going to be passed or through visiting our website. Thank you in all that you do in causing the effect of goodwill to continue. Thank you, Grace. I think we all agree we are looking forward to having you lead us. So next Sunday, it is the last Sunday in August, and we are going to focus on something that we haven't done this year, or here, I mean, and that is blessing our backpacks. Blessing our backpacks, our shoulders, our purses, our briefcases. We carry these things with us, and they are part of us, and yet, do we appreciate them? Do we acknowledge how they have influenced our lives, and so forth? And we're going to start this. I like this idea. This is exciting. I'm glad. The other thing we're going to do, if you so choose, is we're going to have a Sparkle and Clean event after the service. So if you would care to take care of our building a little bit, we'll give it a little extra love. The facilities team will have a list of things that we can do, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, both inside and out. Joel Martin is already smiling at the prospect of cleaning the kitchen. He's back there with a little smile on his face. I can see. So please join us for that as well. Connections groups are starting. Humanist groups are starting. Queer groups are starting. Other groups are starting. It's the fall. A lot of things are happening. Please check out the newsletter, the Friday e-blast. If you aren't getting those, you can go out and sign a little sheet that the hosts have, or you can go to the website. You can ask the office. Lots of ways to get connected with what is going on. And I think that is everything we have to say for news. Monica's not indicating there's anything else exciting. So I will go on. And Arrhiannon is going to bring forward the social justice lantern. And she will take the flame for our chalice and light the social justice lantern. Let us view it as a symbol of the good we do in all our interactions in this following week. And as we extinguish the chalices, let us remember that the light of goodwill and grace resides in us. That it is a joyful light, and that we are not in this work alone.
Please rise and embody your spirit as we sing our closing hymn in the gray hymnal, number 288, All Our Architects. All our architects of fate, working in these walls of time, some with massive deeds ungreat, some with ornaments of rhyme. For the structure that we raise, time is with materials filled, or todays and yesterdays, or to the blocks with which we build. Build today then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure, shall tomorrow find its place.
Please remain standing and join hands if you like, and join me while we say our closing words. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.